I've had the Peloton Row for less than 24 hours, which means I'm ready to talk about delivery, setup, and first impressions. Not ready for the full review yet. That will be coming. Make sure you subscribe for that, but let's talk about this thing. So let's kick this off with delivery, and it was XPO. We've all heard a million stories about them. Well, a long time ago, they sent me an email saying it needed to be scheduled. I did that, and on the day it was supposed to be delivered, they called me and said, we'll be there in 30 minutes. They were here in 30 minutes. They came, they brought the product down my stairs, into my basement, into this room. They set it up, they were super polite, and they were in and out in about 10 minutes. It was perfect. I think it's time we stop giving XPO such a hard time. I know everybody has problems, there's bad stories out there, but I have had a lot of deliveries for what I do here, and they've always been awesome, so hopefully that eases your mind just a little bit. Next up was the initial setup. The thing powered up just fine, wanted to connect to Wi-Fi, wanted me to log in, wanted to do an update. All that went amazing, super smooth, worked great. Then with this, there is a calibration step. So it has you do rowing and holding positions at different stages so it can see where you would be at in your row motion. So I think it can better do its guidance system. And it was great. The calibration was very easy. It walked you right through it. You held the position, you saw a little timer go until it was done, and it moved you on to the next step. Very, very easy. And I was on my way to the actual UI and ready to use this thing. So setup was no problem. If you're concerned about that, don't be. Cake. Moving on to first impressions, and I don't want to go too deep here because I have a lot of work to do, and that's what the full review is for, but to give you a taste of what I'm noticing. First, they did not fade away from being Peloton. If you know Peloton and how they build things out, user interface content, they stuck to it. It has a very Peloton feel to it, and that is a good thing. Another thing I noticed is that the form feedback and the form insights might be more beneficial than I thought. When you're new to rowing, there's a bit of a learning curve. There is a technique to it. And this seems like it's actually gonna be able to teach you where you're doing good, where you're not, and teach you how to properly row, which is nice. That way, if you are intimidated by rowing or trying this, you don't necessarily need to be. It's gonna teach you and help you improve along the way. So I am liking that. Moving on to content, and considering this just launched, there's quite a bit of it. You have a lot of choices. So you're not gonna feel like you're just that new user that only has a few options to pick from. There's plenty of it, so that's a good thing, and I'm sure it's just gonna build over time. And then I'll wrap it up with the machine itself. Initial impression, I'm one ride in. It seems like a very nice machine. The real talking point in the full review is gonna be, does it match up to the price? Because for $3,500, this better be a nice rower, and it is, and that's great, but is it worth the cost, especially compared to some of those other rowers? So I'm gonna put my time in. I'll talk about that in the full review. I'll probably do comparisons down the road as well, but we'll get into that. I'll wrap this up by saying they've done a great job adding that Peloton flair to a rowing experience. The machine itself seems very nice. Overall, it's a very nice unit, but how does it stack up versus other rowers, especially when you consider the price of this thing? I'm gonna have a stronger opinion when I do the full review, and I've got the time I need to into this. But make sure you hit that subscribe button so you know when that video comes out. If you could like this video, I very much appreciate it. And until next time, here's to a healthier you, and have a good one.